Now the news: a 4-year-old girl is dead following a motor vehicle crash on the Hopewell Main Road in Westmoreland Friday afternoon. She was one of 2 pillion riders on a motorcycle that collided with a motor car. The driver of the motorcycle and another child were also injured in the crash.
So yes, Ryme Nation family, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing good today. So this little girl wanna see on screen in a Ryme Nation family. She is 4 years old. She sadly lost her life in a motorcycle collision in Westmoreland, Ryme Nation family. It is reported that about 1 o'clock, a white Toyota Axiom motor car was traveling towards Orange Hill and the motorcycle was traveling towards Negril, right? The driver of that motorcycle in a Ryme Nation family allegedly failed to keep left and collided with the Toyota Axio. The driver and the 2 pillion passengers received injuries and they were both transported to the hospital where the 4-year-old girl died. There were no reports of injuries to the persons in the motor car. This is a second road fatality involving children last week. On Monday of last week in a Ryme Nation family, high school students died along the Bustamante Highway in Clarendon when the car in which they were traveling collided with another car. 2 Lennon, and currently those 3 other students of Lennon High School, they are still in the hospital receiving treatment. Ryme Nation family. So if you're new to the Ryme Nation channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Whenever you guys subscribe to the channel, helps the channel to grow and helps YouTube to push the channel out there. So please remember to subscribe, leave a like and leave a comment. So we have a video from TVJ and so we have a video from TVJ in relation to this incident. So I'm gonna make you guys take a look at the video. So take a look.
Now the news: a 4-year-old girl is dead following a motor vehicle crash on the Hopewell Main Road in Westmoreland Friday afternoon. She was one of 2 pillion riders on a motorcycle that collided with a motor car. The driver of the motorcycle and another child were also injured in the crash. According to reports, sometime after 1 o'clock, a white Toyota Axio motor car was traveling toward Orange Hill. The motorcycle was traveling in the opposite direction. It's understood that the driver of the motorcycle failed to keep left and collided with the car. The condition of the occupants of the motor car is not known. On Monday, 2 students of Lennon High died along the Bustamante Highway in Clarendon when the car in which they were traveling collided with another car. In the meantime, police data show 6 of the 23 children who have died in crashes since the start of the year were traveling on motorcycles. 3 of them were passengers. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, is calling for motorists to show greater care when transporting children.
You ought not to have 2 children riding on a bike with a driver, which is what happened yesterday. You should only have 1 passenger. And drivers who are driving with children need to have an extra sense of caution. We need to protect our children in cars, in buses, on the streets, and when they are riding on bikes.
The total number of deaths from road crashes since the start of the year now stands at 344.
In this next video, which I'm about to let you guys take a look at, them are ask, where is the 3 trillion Jamaican dollars that has been unaccounted for Ryme Nation family? Them want to know where the $3 trillion there because them don't have no sort of documents for proof say the money spent here, the money spent there. It is unaccounted for. Them want to know where the money there. Them want to know if they misappropriate that money, them thief the money and put the money in them pocket. So this is a very alarming and concerning one, Ryme Nation family. So just take a look at the video. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section and tell them what you think about this one. So take a look at the video.
Where are the appropriate checks and balances? That's the question being asked by accountability watchdog JAMP. It comes following an extensive dive into the Auditor General's report into the various ministries, agencies and departments. O'Shane Masters reports.
In January, the Gleaner reported a $1 trillion crisis, but further checks by accountability watchdog Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal JAMP has put that figure to $3 trillion. The serial offenders, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. The Education Ministry has not given an account for spending, which totaled $902 billion. Similarly, for 10 years, the Health Ministry spent $695 billion, for which it has provided no documentation, and the Labour and Social Security Ministry has not accounted for $53.4 billion. But while that is the case, the accountability watchdog and political analyst and former parliamentarian Lloyd B. Smith has raised concern about the meetings of oversight committees which are to examine these reports, which are sent by the Auditor General, namely the Public Accounts and Public Administration and Appropriation Committees. These bodies have met less than 10 times for the year.
It is extremely troubling because this is the people's business, and when we look at the backdrop of the whopping salary increases that our parliamentarians have been receiving, in any private sector organization, they would have what you call dereliction of duty. And in this particular case, that is exactly what it is, dereliction of duty. And unfortunately, we do not have a way to penalize these parliamentarians apart from every 5 years when we vote, and then a lot of voting does not take such matters into consideration, unfortunately. But at the same time, I do believe that some of the things we can do, for example, is name and shame.
Mr. Smith is even more perturbed at the work of the PAC and has lashed out against the opposition. That body, which is chaired by the opposition, only sat twice this year, May 28 and July 16.
It is very troubling, and we have to wrap the opposition party for this as well, because that should be part of their role, to be the people's watchdog. And of course, the media has to play its role in highlighting this particular troubling matter. But again, one would hope that in our parliamentary system, where there's a loyal opposition, that it should be more proactive and it should be out there championing this particular cause of accountability.
As for Executive Director at JAMP, Jeanette Calder, there is much work for the Jamaican populace to do, starting with the $1 trillion issue. She says it must be on the lips of civil society and the media at every press conference. As for ordinary citizens,
JAMP has an access to information tool on its website. You just need to know who you want, click the name of the entity, ask the question, what have you done, Minister, about the fact that we don't know where this $902 billion went? Hit send, and the law says the minister has to respond in 30 days.